Hey now, we love the quartz countertops that we put in 5 years ago, but they have taken on a little bit of abuse. Now today, I plan on taking care of that myself. They have taken on a little bit of damage just to general wear and tear and children and all those fun things. So I do have a little dent right here, as well as just a slightly shallower dent right there. So rather than undergoing an expensive professional repair job, I picked up this HIMG White Tones Quartz Countertop Repair Kit, and I'm going to fix the quartz countertops myself. So this kit can work on white quartz, granite, marble, cultured marble, and all other kinds of materials. Super versatile. So inside the kit we have, first of all, the 3 repair materials. There's pure white, oyster white, as well as gray white. These can be used independently or they can be blended, which is particularly important if you have a single shade countertop that you're trying to repair. I have a bit of a unique situation with all of the different colors going on here, so I'll probably just use a single shade. We've got a really nice bright LED light here for curing. Inside this pouch here, we also have 2 alcohol prep pads. There's a cloth just to clean up, 2 squares of sandpaper, and then a very, very fine grit sandpaper, 2 pouches of polish, 3 applicator tips for the different tones of repair, and just a little application stick. I've set aside everything that I'm going to need for this repair. First of all, I've got the actual material that we're going to be inserting. I'm going to go with the oyster white on here. I think it'll be the best match just for the area that I want. And of course, the micro tip applicator, which I'll be installing here right away. I have the curing strip. Now, because this is so clear, the cellophane, you're going to want to keep it in a spot where you're not going to misplace it. Just setting it down here, I actually have a hard time seeing it. If you wind up needing more, apparently you can just use clear packing tape, fold it over sticky side to sticky side, so it is also just smooth like this and isn't going to stick to anything, and that will also work. I've got the alcohol pad, the cleaning cloth, the polishing paste here, of course the LED light, as well as this applicator stick. Now with this particular dent here, I've already gone ahead and cleaned it out as well as I could just with a little scrubbing pad. And now I'm going to take the alcohol wipe and further wipe this here just to help remove any potential oils and anything else like that that might impact the actual repair job here. Now we're just going to let that dry. The microtip applicators are extremely easy to install. You just unthread that lid and then screw this on. And that is ready. The alcohol in that pad takes very little time to dry, so we are now ready to actually engage in this repair. So I'm just going to very gently depress this plunger. Once you've applied the material, you just want to pull the plunger back a little bit here to make sure that there is nothing still sitting here, and that will help prevent this from getting clogged up. Now, ideally, you don't want to overfill any of these repair areas. However, I don't have much of a choice because this is so shallow. So I'm just going to lay down that curing strip here. I'm just going to flatten it out like so. And then with this LED curing light, I'm just going to hold it directly above. If this was a slightly smaller crack, I could probably just set this down directly and let it stand in place. However, because it's slightly larger than the diameter of this light, I'm just going to hold it here for probably 3 minutes. And after 3 minutes, we're going to check this out. Now, before you remove this curing strip, you want to sort of just feel here with this stick to make sure that nothing is kind of mooshing around or soft. This is hard, so I'm going to remove it. And as you can see, nothing has stuck to that cellophane. Now, because like I said, this is a very shallow scratch and this is overfilled a little bit here, I am going to need to sand it. So I will start off with the 220 grit sandpaper here and just going in light little circles. I will sand here until it is smooth with the rest of the countertop. And after about 30 seconds of those motions, and as you can see here, I chose just to go right on the corner, so I still have plenty of sandpaper left to use whenever I need to in the future. I can already hardly tell where this damage is, which is why I've got the stick aimed right at that spot. I'm just going to wipe it clean, and then taking the 2000 grit sandpaper, I'm just going to give it a little once over here. So that was only about 10 seconds of the 2000 grit sandpaper. And then finally, I'm just going to apply a small amount of this polishing paste to the countertop here, and just using a paper towel, give it a little light polish here to finish off. Okay, you know this works. I am really struggling here to even tell you where the original damage was. I can't see it. I can't feel it. Yep, I don't know, like magic. There we go. Completely fixed. So now I'm on to my second repair. Similarly to the first one, I have this completely cleaned out. I'm just going over it with the alcohol pad. Using that oyster white on the first dent worked really well. So I'm going to use it also here on the second one. This is a smaller one, so for sure, again, I'm going to wind up overfilling, but that's okay because the sanding process was very simple. I'm just going to lay that down. Once again, smooth out, and we'll go for another 3 minutes. And after that 3 minutes, I'm just going to double check here. Yeah, that's nice and hard. And I'm going to leave this little stick here so that I have an idea where this damage was. And similarly to the last one here, because it was so shallow, I do need to sand. So I'm going to do that. Again, just using a corner of this and working in small, light circles. That took just a little bit more sanding because it was slightly more overfilled because it was such a shallow dent. But then we'll go to the 2000 grit sandpaper. Awesome. And now onto the polish. And once again, taking a look at this here, I can't tell visually where that crack was. It is just like new. A final and ultimate test for this repair kit is going to be this seam here on the kitchen counter just in front of my sink. This has been repaired one time by professionals who installed this. However, it seems once again the material that they put in there has come out and it's just not looking good. So let's see how this works. So I cleaned this out with the toothbrush. I'm about to use the alcohol pad and engage in this, so we'll see what this looks like once we're done. So the big difference so far on this long seam is just needing to use both of those cellophane strips and then just taping down the ends of them so that they wouldn't lift up. Now this took quite a bit longer to cure because I had to basically work the LED light in sections coming along here. However, that process is done, so now it's just sanding time. So here we are after that process. This looks considerably better than it did before. Of course, this is a longer seam, so it's a little bit more difficult to get it actually hidden, but this looks very, very comparable to what it looked like when we had it professionally installed, so really happy with that. So that worked out super easily. I'm really glad I went ahead and did that. There are lots of different types of kits out there that you can purchase. I found that this one here that I had everything that I need, and that worked out really great. So if you got some damage in your countertop and you want to try to play around, see if you can fix it, I guarantee you that it can certainly be done. So there you have it, and until next time, keep Road 11.